Hey everybody, it's Master Bob Smith with Smith Taekwondo and Pro Sport Kickboxing, Hawaii's largest center for martial arts instruction for children and adults, and a private military contractor, coming at you with the tip of the week for children. And the tip of the week is good touch, bad touch. Now, parents need to teach the children there are areas of good touching and bad touching. And the best way to do that is the bathing suit area. Teach the children nobody should be touching you inside the bathing suit area, with the exception of possibly parents giving you a bath, doctors examining you, things like that. But you're going to come across relatives from time to time, and relatives will, they're maybe in their generation or their time, there was nothing wrong with giving you a smack on the butt, and there's nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned. It's a baseball coach coming up and good game, sort of thing. It's when these guys want you to sit on their lap, or they want to constantly caress you and touch you. They want to constantly pull you towards them. If they are inappropriately touching you, nobody's looking, or there's a lot of people around, they quickly try to touch you and make a joke out of it. You need to watch things like that, because that's definitely bad touch. So when you're teaching kids about who should and who shouldn't, play the what if game. And ask your little son or daughter, hey, so what if somebody comes up and they touch you here in the bathing suit area, in the back? How do they touch you? Or they touch you in the front? Or especially, if they put their hands inside your clothing, things like that. Those are definitely bad touch areas that you teach your children. And this could be teachers at school, it could be coaches, it could be mentors, it could be clergy. It could even be law enforcement officers. More than likely, it's not going to be a law enforcement officer. But the purpose of good touch, bad touch is an extremely sensitive area for a lot of people. So I want you to think about ways of creating scenarios for your children. What would be a good touch, that your dad's best friend might give you? And what would be a bad touch that your mom's uncle might give you? And play scenarios out like that with your kids that they understand. Teach them not to be ashamed of their body, because a lot of kids talk about private parts and like, oh, that's a bad area. There's no such thing as a bad area on your body. It's just the way people touch you. So teach them the correct names of the body parts. Don't give them little nicknames or things like that. Teach your children so that they truly understand. And truly understand that there's nothing wrong with the body. It's strictly in how the touch is administered and who is doing the touch, the good touch, bad touch. There are far too many martial arts instructors, gymnastics coaches, hula kumu, hula instructors that are way too comfortable touching kids way too much. And parents, if you are sensing something like that, trust your senses, because your instincts aren't going to be wrong. I promise you on that. Very, very seldom are you ever going to see a soccer coach with any reason whatsoever to be grabbing a kid by their buttocks, or trying to discreetly talk to them about good touch, bad touch. Another thing with the bad touch is when you see an adult talking with a child. Maybe you just walked into the area and they move away quickly, their hands move away, and they're talking, and you're like, your instincts tell you something was a little off there. Ask the child right away, because you might end up with a scenario where the adult is using a threat to the child to keep them quiet, and you certainly don't want something like that. You want to make sure that your children are open, they can communicate with you and feel like they can tell you anything. This is Bob Smith. Remember, don't try to prepare the road ahead for your child, prepare your child for the road ahead. Out.